Blessed Holy Week, here we are. I just read some wonderful reflections on entering into Holy Week from Bishop Eric Varden, the Bishop of Norway. I've talked and written about a couple of his books, The Shattering of Loneliness. He just wrote a book called Chastity. Anyway, he's was interviewed in a Substack called, I think, What We Need Now. I'll post the link. So they're just wonderful thoughts about how just do it one day at a time, and that we really enter into sort of real time with Christ on his journey. It's really by far the deepest week of the year, and we prepare as best we can during Lent, but I think it always sort of takes me by surprise of how profound it is and how moving it is. Yeah, we enter into a sense, into many senses with Christ and his walk to Calvary. So I just wanted to do a short piece on something I've been thinking about. This is a big theme of mine: the thin line between passion and pathology. And I when I was in law school, one of the few cases that really really caught my eye. Uh, well, there were a few of them, but had to do with, I can't even remember what the case was about. It was possibly municipal law. Anyway, it had to do with this couple, this the guy Burt Pugach and uh, the woman Linda, born Linda Riss, Riss. Anyway, they were entwined in this insane sort of love, what we would call it, love addict, I guess, today. But anyway, the point is, they just had a little blurb in the law book, and it was about how he had hired thugs to throw lye in her face, and he scarring her. He blinded her in one eye, partially blinded in the other. He was this uh anyway, there's a documentary that was made about it in 2007 called Crazy Love. But what caught my eye at first was that he had done this horrible thing. He had served, I think, 12, 14 years in prison. And when he got out, she married him. And so I was of course in the grip of my profound alcoholism. And also I've always had those horrible love addict tendencies. And so I was just enthralled. This was before the internet, so you couldn't totally look stuff up. But of course, I was mesmerized by the case. I think the case might have been he had threatened her, and he was a stalker, even though she was also kind of fatally attracted to him. But he had threatened to harm her, and I think she had asked the city of New York to protect her, and they wouldn't. They said, we can't send protection just for threats or whatever. And then the thugs came to the door. Anyway, so they made a documentary in 2007, Crazy Love, it's called, directed by Dan Flores and Fisher Stevens. And so Bert, who Jimmy Breslin, the great New York journalist, said is the most insane person he's ever met in his life, like certifiably insane. He just died, Bert, not too long ago at the age of 90 something, and leaving all his money to his very young housekeeper, who, anyway, the drama continues. But anyway, so both Bert and Linda are in the film along with their this documentary, along with their family and friends. And Bert was this young, kind of hotshot, personal injury New York lawyer, drove a powder blue Cadillac, and etc. Kind of a playboy lawyer when he lays eyes on 20-year-old Linda in the Bronx at Rosh Hashanah 1957. Okay, so and it shows pictures of them in those days, and he just instantly conceived of this crazy, crazy attachment to her, and just thought she was the most beautiful girl he'd ever seen, and courted her and wooed her, and morning, noon, and night he was there with his Cadillac, picking her up, taking her out. And she was this kind of, she was a virgin, number one. and she's great. She has this great personality, very, very feisty, which is interesting. She's not a wallflower type or shy or retiring, and she's on to him in a way. And she's like, I wasn't that good looking or anything, but he kind of wins her over. And she's always wanted. They both had difficult, kind of traumatic childhoods for different reasons. So anyway, they get together, and yet he, of course, would cheat on her. I mean, he's obviously a sex addict on top of being a love addict, and even though he's constantly proclaiming his undying love, she finds out. So I think they were engaged. She called it off, and she's going to get married to someone else. And Bert, calls her or writes a letter or whatever and says, if I can't have you, nobody will. And he hires these thugs and they come to her door. I think they said, oh, we have a bouquet for you. They threw lye in her face. So her face was scarred permanently, although she's still quite good looking. She wears dark glasses because she's blind, and I guess her eyes behind, are like disfigured. Um, anyway, and he is just this. What's weird about it is neither one of them displays a whole lot of remorse for the whole thing. He definitely doesn't. He's a kind of classic narcissist where it's kind of like he glides over glides over everything, um, with this kind of patter. And she is just kind of, well, stand by your man type thing. Well, he won me over again. And, she didn't give in to him right away when he gets out of prison. But so they get together when he takes care of her. I mean, there's this Rainer Fassbinder film, Martha, that's kind of has this theme, this very creepy theme of the possessive, jealous person who gets their love object into a position where they're not able to, they're disabled in some way. And so they're totally within their grip. But they don't, I mean, I think the filmmakers, a lot of the critics said, oh, they didn't delve into that. They never got into why the psychology, why did they go back? But I think these people were not remotely capable of understanding. They weren't self-reflective. I don't think they knew why. They just knew they found something in each other and they stuck to it. And it's accompanied by all these kind of pop tunes, which I think is kind of good. They didn't take the da 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 da. Here are two crazy people. It's more. I mean, it's a little lighthearted, which I mean, you can make of it what you will, but they have these pop songs. I put a spell on you, release me. You've really got a hold on me. Kind of illustrating how the culture is very much feeds into this. We love this kind of, oh, I'm so crazy over you, but it obviously can veer into real illness. And so you can watch this and think, oh my Lord, how insane, how pathological these people belonged in an institution. And at the same time, just the other day, I saw the movie the second it came out, and then I rewatched it a couple of weeks ago. The other day I was thinking, wait, that is what Christ does with us. We threw lye in his face, and worse, spit on him, jeered on him, crowned him with thorns, paraded him through the streets, nailed him to a cross, and still he comes back to us. Still he forgives us. Still he loves us to the point of continuing for all eternity to pour himself out. Do this in memory of me. Drink my blood, eat my body. So the point is, who are we to judge in a way? I mean, Bert, I think, is clearly, whatever he had was not, I don't think he seemed to me not capable of loving anyone. I think Linda, is the way more interesting character. She still retained her feistiness. It wasn't like she subsumed her personality to the guy. And you see them bickering in a kind of loving way. Um, I mean, who knows? But the point is this, sticking with someone, even though they're clearly deeply damaged, and even though our motives may be mixed, and part of it is our own neediness, I just feel like we're not really equipped to judge. And at the very least, our human pathologies are always echoes of something of our divine longing. um, and our seemingly insane forgiveness of people and letting them off the hook. Sticking, for example, with the guy who's a total alcoholic who we married. Well, he's got a sickness. Let me find a way to work about. I just think there's a lot there to ponder. I'm not sure we're equipped totally to judge. I mean, you would never call Christ a doormat, and I'm not sure Linda was either. She wasn't exactly a doormat. I don't know. Um, no, but Christ allows us, not only allowed us, continues to allow the world to jeer at him, spit on him, throw a lie in his face, scourge him. So it's just something to ponder during Holy Week. It is a crazy love that Christ has for us, and it's just beyond. No one can fathom it. It really is beyond everything, and so we just walk with this mystery, and as the Triduum looms, I feel like I almost like fainted during Palm Sunday, like standing for the whole. Um, I was super hungry during Mass, and so anyway, big deal, right? But it's a long, if you go through the whole thing on Holy Thursday, and the sort of adoration, or that you sit in quiet afterward, and then Good Friday and the veneration of the cross, and then the vigil, which is 3 hours on Saturday. It's a lot, and not just it's not time wise so much. And the great thing is, as Bishop Varden says, I mean, really, we enter into Kairos. It's like we're out of chronological time, so it's very deep. But yeah, it's like you kind of die to yourself because your normal life is just put on hold. Let's face it. But this is so. My big thing is that I have decided to do is they called at parish up the street, St. Ambrose, where I'm gonna do the Triduum, and they said we're gonna clean. It was a volunteer crew. It's gonna clean the church on Saturday morning, the Saturday, Holy Saturday. We're gonna clean the church 9 a.m. And ordinarily, I'm not really a participate in parish activity type person. Not bragging about it. It's just never been. Anyway, I always kind of feel like, okay, who cares how I feel? So the point is, I thought, oh, perfect. This is my little chance to add my teeny, teeny, teeny bit of help to imagine the amount of work that goes into putting on, just doing Holy Week, and even the most humble of parishes. So anyway, I'm going to go at 9 a.m. and help anoint Christ for his burial and resurrection, though, of course. So anyway, I wish you all a blessed, blessed Holy Week. I'll put the link to Bishop Varden's thoughts down below. I think they're very deep, and I'll put the link to the documentary Crazy Love, and really seriously, this is how love God and do what you will. I mean, we don't want to fritter away our time just watching like trashy sensationalistic stuff, but I mean, we can bring our Catholic lens and heart to really almost anything we watch. I mean, it's how we choose what we watch. But to me, this documentary gave rise to uh, a lot of deep pondering. So anyway, happy Easter, and see you next week.